Presentation. And we have Dr. Eugene Fregetto joining us, retired professor at the University of Illinois in Chicago.
How are you doing? I'm finally getting to stand up and have my blood move a little bit. So.
Yeah, seriously. So we'll just kind of touch on some of these things. We won't go into them in detail if you've already, since some of these we've already touched on. Again, a collaborative effort between Warm Heart and Global University. Go ahead and skip that. Again, you know about the population, and in this case, we're going to talk a little bit about the design of the course itself, platform, why we designed it the way we did, and so forth, and the kind of the theme of entrepreneurship and how to teach those skills. So the goal was explicitly to gain entrepreneurial competencies and skills, but implicitly we wanted them to gain confidence in starting a business and build their self-efficacy in the way they approached life in general. The format of Facebook we liked because it was minimal technology requirements. They could use it on a cell phone. They didn't have to have a computer to be able to go to the class and look at the content, the material. We used Google Doc for a little bit longer readings. We also used a face-to-face computer lab, and that was provided by Warm Heart. And there was in-class lesson and discussion, so we had a really great teacher helping to hammer home the lessons. Everything was translated, and in class we had an interpreter. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll give you a little background. I've taught entrepreneurship for 32 years, started in the early 80s. I actually practiced entrepreneurship. And fast forwarding, basically we have a really great team. Michelle's the instructional designer, very, very good at it. I'm the primary of the content. And Mike, who's president of Warm Heart up north of Chiang Mai, also retired professor like me. Knows the local community, so he delivers the course. So this is the design approach I have. There's three basic dimensions of entrepreneurship. You need to practice it, basic business operation, and there's approaches to teaching approaches to that. You can kind of put them on a discovery process, kind of get them going, get a team, get an idea, try something out. Or the third approach is an entrepreneurial mindset, where they think like an entrepreneur. Well, I chose an entrepreneurial mindset. To me, that's the foundation, to be able to think like an entrepreneur. That's actually the foundation of not just one venture, that's a foundation of an entrepreneurial career. So we decided, and then there's 13 competencies. Some articles say 12 competencies, but there's approximately 13 competencies that have been well established by other researchers as important to an entrepreneurial mindset. So these are the 13. And anyone who can't sleep tonight, you want about 2 hours, 3 hours, I can go through all the competencies for you, but I'm going to skip over that right now. So we did select 5. Opportunity recognition, opportunity assessment, creative problem solving, resource leveraging and bootstrapping, and value creation. Those are the 5 that our first course was to be focused on. And actually, Michelle already delivered the one example that I was going to use on. Our approach was experiential learning rather than lecture. We just get them engaged. And so Michelle did a great job on giving the example of we just said, you look around your home, pick an object, a pen, a pencil, a broom. We don't care, pick an object. And then get in your team and identify 50 different uses of that object. And then when you get that 50 list, we get them to do that, then make a short list of 15 that you think are the most creative. And then basically share those with the other team. So the point of that exercise is for them to be able to see the opportunities that just exist in their environment and to start to see and develop the entrepreneurial mindset. So Yep.
Okay, and then, hang on, yeah, is this me? No, that's
me.
you, so
Did
go
you skip
ahead.
over a
I
slide?
did, because I already presented the Facebook class, so
Oh,
I don't
okay.
need to do that again.
Okay, yeah, so experiential learning, you know, rather than sitting and listening to lectures, we just got them engaged, so all the competencies have exercises to them. And based on just my experience and my reading, but those of my scholars, you know, that great work, there's great work out there, and so we developed a resource document with, like on each one of them, we probably have 10 exercises, and then we picked the ones that we thought were best. Where we said failure is not an option is they don't flunk out of the course. We're not grading them. They're going to stay in the course. They're going to stay in the course. We're going to engage them and engage them and engage them, and if they get a little discouraged, we're going to pick them up again. They're going to have to leave. We're not going to flunk them out of the course, so there's no grading. And in effect, they learn self-efficacy in a roundabout way by doing. Facebook, I think you talked about a lot, but and Michelle's going to talk a little bit later in that. We use Facebook; it's good, and I think Michelle's going to talk more in that. And language, we talked about that already, but we're also doing more effort to examine the words that we use. Like I'll give you the best example, or the easiest, entrepreneur. And if you take entrepreneur and translate it into Thai, and then take the Thai and translate it back to English, you don't get the same thing. You get business operator. And business operator in the U.S. Is a small business owner, and not an entrepreneur as we portray an entrepreneur. So we have about maybe 50 words right now that we're going through that exercise, and then we'll refine our English so that when we retranslate, we get the same thing. And then we do hope to, we do plan to actually contact Facebook when we get further down the line and say, can you help us? You know, we want to fine tune so that we can have people in the U.S. also help us. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so lessons learned. Well, so they asked us to use Facebook because supposedly they knew Facebook. Well, what we found is they didn't really know Facebook. So what we had to do was spend quite a bit of time at the beginning teaching them Facebook, getting them email accounts, spending time, that precious instructor time, in teaching technology skills. So one of the things that we came up with, because Warm Heart is an orphanage, and they have a lot of really smart kids who know digital technology. So what we thought we'd do was ask Warm Heart to identify some kids in the orphanage who could be mentors and who could teach these orientations. So they could, so those kids could be mentors, get some experience teaching others, and then they would sit there with the students and teach them Facebook and Google and email and so forth. That's kind of a trainer model, and it wouldn't hurt if this were to be expanded or scaled to find kids, bring them in and have them work with the students on the technology side of it, so we don't waste that precious instructor time. What we found was that the technology supports those entrepreneurial goals. So while they're getting the Facebook skills, they're also getting entrepreneurial skills, how to market, how to get their word out, how to network. So the Facebook really helps build those entrepreneurship skills as well. What we found in this culture is that they have a preference for peer interaction. So in the US, they don't like working with groups at all. It's like, don't put me in a group. In the Asian cultures, they like to work together. They learn from each other, and they feel good in being connected with others in interaction and feedback, and really enjoy getting feedback from their peers on their ideas. One of the things that they asked us about, since they don't have internet at home, was do we want to maybe print out some of the readings and exercises that they can do at home. Was it keeping them from doing their homework if they didn't have the printouts? So we found that maybe they weren't doing their homework because they didn't have printouts of the material. And then the thing we found was that they came in thinking they knew a lot about business. And they realized that they had a lot of gaps in their knowledge about entrepreneurship and business building. And so now they know why those efforts before didn't work. They feel like they really gained that. And they have a newfound confidence in building a business. So next steps, I'll do content. You want to do, I'll do content?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you
Yeah.
do
Oh,
program?
yeah.
Okay. So the next step, we want to build out that technology orientation activity and just really plan for that. And then want to have, okay, so here's something that was kind of cool. We asked them, look, what if you guys had the class Facebook, but then you built your own separate Facebook for your own project? So you answer those questions in your own separate business Facebook. So here's your business idea, here's the Facebook that goes along with it. Now you complete this activity on creativity, you post your response in your Facebook for every exercise. Next exercise, post your response in your own Facebook. And over time, you will see your business, your ideas, and you will see your own personal development in that Facebook. And as we offer the next class, and the next class we're expecting to offer 3 classes, that they will see the history of their development in their business ideas all the way through to the end as they develop out that business. So in a sense, it's an e-portfolio. They're developing a Facebook electronic portfolio. And they loved it. They loved that idea. And again, building that entrepreneurial skill using Facebook. So how do we scale it? We have an amazing instructor. And how do you get this master instructor to be in Cambodia or Laos, where we're also looking at expanding this? And so, how do we train the trainer? Well, one of the things we're looking at is videotaping this master instructor and breaking it into small 2 or 3 minute components, and using that for students to watch about nailing home the concepts, but also for trainers to watch about his technique in teaching other students entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurial skills. One of the things that's the hardest to do as an instructor is not put your ideas in there. So when the student is like really stuck and you just can't get it out of them, what's an example in your life of ABC? And the student's like, and you're like, okay, and you just try, you don't want to give them the words, you want them to want it to come out of them. This guy was masterful at that, and that's a talent. And then the support network. So this is a mentor. This is a local restaurant owner who started from the very ground up. And so we invited her to speak with the students, and she talked about her own experience and brought it up. So we want to bring in more community mentors into the experience of the class so they can see what is it like to be, to start from, bootstrapping yourself all the way up to your own business. We want more educators. We also want to bring in graduates, alums of the program, to bring in how did they, learn in these competencies, and how can they help the new students kind of think through those skills and exercises. Okay, Gene?
And Michelle, if you click back in a second.
Sure.
This is program level.
Uh-huh.
Click back.
Yeah.
That's the content level.
Yeah.
I want to point
Sorry.
that out because, go back to the next
Uh-huh.
one. Because networks are in both of them.
Yeah.
So what Michelle was talking about is how do we improve the content of what we're delivering. And then my part, or our part, what we work on is the program level. So networks are still important, very, very important. And I think one other little point that a very important point that in producing the videos is that we're producing the videos so they see their peers in the process. It's not some American student or some student other places. So we're producing videos in order to.
So the videos include the interaction with the
Right.
students, so it's not just a teacher in front of the class, it's the actual interaction with the students, helping them think through those activities, yeah.
So I think these are pretty straightforward to develop. We reached out locally to the local businesses, and Warm Heart has been up there for 8 years, 9 years. Their official orphanage, and in fact, they had a graduate student work with Mike, and part of her thesis, master's thesis, she interviewed 30 business owners and videotaped it, and so there's good relationships all there. And we will definitely maintain relationships with the graduates from our program. And university internship opportunities, both from here in Thailand, but also from the U.S. I do know university programs in the U.S. where students do university have programs where they do go across borders. And I know I'll use my wherewithal to knock on a few doors. And then key partnerships with the chamber. And Michelle and I spent a couple days in Chiang Mai, met with another nonprofit that's interested, and with the business dean, and all reaching out, and Mike from Warm Heart has contact. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think that's it, huh?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so, we'll be sending, I'm assuming that we have a way of sending out our presentation, and then you can contact us if you have questions, and I'll try to remember to send out, what was it gonna send out?
Actually,
Yeah.
very good presentation. I would like to ask, how can we find the funding, the capital to start the entrepreneur? How can we find it?
Well, you know, you don't need a lot of funding. I mean, we didn't hardly put any money into this. I mean, I paid, I pay for my trips here, but I come on a regular basis because my daughter teaches internationally. So it's to create it, and we have a proposal working up. So kind of like once we get a little traction and another course or two, but we didn't need funding to do what we're doing, to get it started. Too often, and that's the entrepreneur. That's the quickest way to kill an idea, is to say, before I can start, I need the money, and that happens so much. In entrepreneurship, what we're teaching is you need the entrepreneurial frame of mind, and there has not been one pool of anyone else's money. I've volunteered my time. Michelle's volunteered her time. We're following our passion, and Mike's following the passion. A year and a half ago is when I I sent Warm Heart. I saw they had a micro enterprise program. I said, I'm a retired professor. I come to Asia. I'd like to work with you to develop an online entrepreneurship program for women in northern Thailand, because that's something I'd like to do. And Mike said, I've been thinking about doing that. But that was the 6th person I talked to, and I connected up with Mike.
And
so
let me add one more
yeah.
thing to that, which is, this model, we want to expand it and scale it. If you are interested in exploring this model in your community, we would love to work with you. So, yeah.
You have to be entrepreneurial in your funding approach.
Right.
You do.
Well,
Yes, you do.
And that resonates, that
Uh-huh.
makes perfect sense. You are teaching entrepreneurship on
Yeah.
the wall.
I'll give you one example of a resource that we tapped into. And I had tapped into, I talked to Daniel from Child's Dream up in Chiang Mai a year before I talked to Michael. And then we connected with him. And fundamentally, Michael, Child's Dream is an awesome organization, has education programs in Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar. And we talked for about a half hour, and he said, he was taking notes because he had an entrepreneurship program within the schools, and it's consuming a lot of time. And he liked our discussion, he liked our teamwork. And he said, put something together and I will send it to all my principals. Now how much, that's not a dollar, he didn't put a dollar sign, but to establish relationships, to follow your passion, to find people who have the same passion, costs no money other than just your time. So, and then the money will follow.
You have a
Yes.
question?
Along the same line, would you, I've never heard of Hope Global University, could you give us an idea of what it is?
New, it's new. It's
how
new,
old it is?
it's a colleague who started a nonprofit university. She's working in India, Mexico, and Thailand right now, and is looking to expand. So just kind of, again, following her passion.
How long has it been around?
Couple of years,
Okay.
yeah.
And that was, I found Mike through my own initiatives.
Who's Mike?
And Mike, who's president of
Warm Heart.
Warm Heart